Hey murderers, guess what time it is? It's time to get your terror on. That's right. We are here today with another mini episode offering a collection of scary stories that hopefully tickle your Halloween tingles. Now stay tuned for some very scary stories. I'm a nerd, and that's okay. Stay tuned. There is a medicine story that tells of Crow's fascination with her own shadow. She kept looking at it, pecking at it until her shadow woke up and became alive. Then Crow's shadow ate her. Crow is dead Crow now. Join us as we attempt to look through the wandering crow's eye to find the gateway to the supernatural, to seek to know the unknowable mysteries of creation. Welcome to the Wandering Crow Podcast.
The title of this one is The Shadow. I didn't know that's what it was called until much later. I was living in a house in Laguna Beach that had been there since the 1920s. In its history, it had been a speakeasy, a brothel, and a house for smuggling illegal immigrants. But one day, my new wife and I were having an argument, and I can't even recall what it was about. She walked down the block to get a cup of coffee and cool off, and I was alone in the house. Now, the way the place was built was incredibly haphazard. There was a bedroom and a living room on one side, then a bathroom with two entrances, and on the other side of the bathroom was a hallway that had windows on one side and two bedrooms on the other side. From my bedroom, I could look across the hall into the bathroom, then through the bathroom, and down the other hall. I was standing at my dresser, and I just noticed movement out of the corner of my eye. And I looked down there. There was, and honest to God, this gives me goosebumps typing it 17 years later, a black figure. It was maybe 3 feet tall, and it was vaguely humanoid. It looked like black scribbles, like someone had scribbled a human shape, but the scribbles moved, like electricity arcing. That's the best way to describe it. There was no sound that I could remember, but I do distinctly remember that when I saw it, I wasn't afraid. I was just like, what the fuck is that? And then it noticed me looking at it. I can't say it turned around, just that it focused on me, I guess. Then I was scared. I didn't move, I didn't scream, nothing. I was just frozen, because it fucking came at me. It rushed down the hall towards me. I had no idea what it intended, but as soon as it entered the bathroom, the door closest to me just slammed shut on it. And I screamed. I yelled for my wife. She wasn't home, so I went the fuck outside, into the daylight, and I didn't go back until she got home 10 minutes later. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe I saw something supernatural, but I know I saw something.
This story kind of has a question to it. More like a, what was it? An alien? A ghost? An interdimensional being? Here we go. When I was 7 years old, growing up on the outskirts of Oaxaca, Mexico, something happened to me that I still can't fully explain. My parents owned a small restaurant, and we lived in a modest back room where we all slept together in one bed, my parents, my sister, and me. One night, I woke up needing to use the restroom. As I groggily rubbed my eyes, something caught my attention in the corner of the room. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light, so I blinked hard, trying to clear the crust from my eyes. But when I looked again, I saw it clearly, a figure, crouched and staring at me from the shadows. Panic surged through me. I wanted to run back to the safety of the bed, but I couldn't move. My body was frozen in place, paralyzed by fear. The figure, which looked almost human, began to rise and walk towards me. Each step it took sent a wave of terror through my body, but still, I couldn't move. As it drew closer, I finally managed to break free from my fear. I lunged onto the bed, frantically trying to wake my family, but they wouldn't budge. It was as if they were in a deep, unnatural sleep. Desperate, I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping it would all go away. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself sitting on the edge of the bed. My mother was awake, standing next to me, staring at the humanoid figure. They didn't speak, just looked at each other in silence. Gathering all my courage, I got up and walked around the thing. I reached out and pushed it. It felt slick, almost slimy, like its skin or clothes were covered in something, but it wasn't wet or anything. Its skin was a sickly gray, but no matter how hard I tried, I could never remember its face. After I pushed it, my mother finally spoke. She simply said, "He won't bother you again." And just like that, the figure was gone. To this day, I remember everything I asked my mom about that night, and she said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So, tell me, was that an alien? Just a ghost? Interdimensional being? What?
I worked in healthcare for over 20 years now, and I have a couple of stories from working in nursing homes of seeing the figure in black shooting across the hall, and then in the next 24 hours, a resident will die. And then in less than a week, another one will pass away as well. My favorite story is this. I worked at a very small hospital, maybe 30 beds, that has been around for many years. In the basement is, of course, the old morgue, and there is one elevator that goes from the basement to the main floor outside the nurses' station. This elevator would come up in the middle of the night randomly, and the doors would open. When all of the nursing staff would get up to go see what's going on, they'd find a patient who had just passed away. One night, my coworkers and I were sitting at the nurses' station, and down the short hall to our right, we hear this TV come on, and the volume is up as loud as it can go. One of my coworkers and I walk down said hall to find the TV to turn it down. There's one room down that hall that maintenance has the door closed to, and a do not enter sign is on the door. After looking in all the open rooms, there is no other room but the closed one to look in. We open the door, and there is nothing in this room except the TV. I walked in, turned the TV off, and said, "Stop that. There's a sick baby next door who needs to sleep, so please be quiet." I walked out and closed the door with no further incidents with the TV.
Ghost Bro. My house was built in 1904. It's a single-family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I've been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and me had seen or heard in this house, this one event's probably my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friends had started a garage band, playing mostly Spanish rock, alternative music, but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sundays, so they would practice from early afternoon to early evening. And they would usually call it quits by around 8 p.m. And this was usually the time that I showed up and went to bed, because, well, I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter, and they had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother had handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filed out of the basement. The tricky part is that they needed to walk all the way back to the back of the basement, up the back stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall into the living room, and out of the front porch. Everyone was outside sitting in my brother's truck waiting for him, but my brother was walking back up the stairs when he remembered that he had left his pancakes in the to-go container sitting on the speakers in the basement. He made the decision to go back. Now, the basement is not clean. There's no full line of sight. There had been partitions made, the boiler and the main heating unit right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back, he's about to retrieve his food container when, out of the corner of his eye, he sees it. It is a shadowy figure, right in his peripheral vision. This feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. We've been taught that if you're in the presence of a spirit or ghost and you get a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it. And of course, my brother, he chose the latter. He basically just told it, hey, fuck you, I don't have time for this shit. My brother started to walk to the back of the basement, briskly up the stairs, closing doors, turning off lights, as he was walking out. The last light switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding in the living room with an amber light. My brother said he felt something in his back, but at no point did he turn around. As he flicked that last light switch in the living room went dark, as did the rest of the house. As he stepped out, he pulled the door closed behind him. Still holding his food container in one hand, he jogged down the few porch steps. He walked towards the front gate. Our house resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard with no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his friend-laden truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for spooking out with no reason. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting his seatbelt on and getting ready to pull out of the parking spot directly in front of the house, when one of his friends turned to him and asked, "Hey, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He's at work early tonight. He's already gone. Did you see his car anywhere?" The next question they asked, "So then who was that walking behind you when you were leaving the house?"
Here's a story for you. No idea what to believe anymore. This comes from someone who was not a believer, but had an experience that made him maybe rethink his belief in ghosts. I'm a firm non-believer, but a recent experience changed my mind. My job is at an old building built sometime in the 1880s. Anyway, some coworkers had told me stories of an old woman called Violet who will make her presence known if people stay later than 6 p.m. The building has 3 floors. The 3rd floor is full of trash, old office chairs, mold, etc. It needs some sorting out. Anyways, I was on the 2nd floor doing a bit of paperwork when I hear a slam, like a door slamming. This is about 6:15 and I was finishing up. I wheel my chair back with my feet and look down the corridor. The bathroom door is opening and slamming over and over. I'm the only one in the building at this point. Made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I felt a wave of goosebumps shoot down my arms. I shout, "Stop!" And it slams shut one last time, then stops. After calming down, I packed up and I left. I've refused to go to that bathroom ever since. Whenever I need to go to the bathroom, I just go across the street to Costco instead. I tried finding a reasonable explanation for this, but I don't know. All the windows are always closed, mostly because the wood is old and they are single glazed. So I don't know what I could have done. Maybe it was a gravitational anomaly? Question mark.
Well, murderers, this concludes our telling of terror tales for this Halloween special. Join us next time for another mini episode. That's right, 2 mini episodes per week. Be safe out there. Don't forget your talismans. And don't forget to say your prayers at night before bed. Sweet dreams.